Decapitation Without Your Head. I'm Nasty Neal. I'm joined by the fine fellows here of Night of the Bastard. We have Christian Ackerman, co-writer and producer, returning to the show with a...
Hello.
Uh-oh. I'm hearing my echo. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Chuck Foster, co-writer.
Hello.
Well, I'm turning off. I had my echo here in the background, and one of me is enough. I don't need to hear myself twice.
Yeah.
And Hannah Pierce is Claire, who I actually have to say this right to begin with. I wasn't sure it was actually who, because you look much different on IMDb than you do in the movie.
Yeah, we can get into it, but I do.
All right. And Harry Mortensen, Mason in the movie, who also looks much different now.
Yeah.
He didn't get the mohawk. And so for people not aware yet, could you give them an idea of what Night of the Bastard is about? I think by the name, though, they're going to be excited.
Oh, Chuck, do you want to do this one?
Sure. So there's a loner living in the desert, and some kids happen upon his property to go camping. He kicks them off. They stumble upon a cult in the desert, and havoc ensues. I don't want to give much more away than that.
Yeah, there's a big scene right at the beginning, which we don't want to spoil. But I think near the beginning of the movie, you'll know if this is a movie you're going to be into or not.
Right. Exactly.
For sure.
We get right into it.
Yeah. And so, Hannah, how did you get involved?
My dear friend Bonnie Bloomgarden in the band Death Valley Girls, London had originally reached out to her to play the role. And if you know Bonnie at all, hi, Bonnie, I love you. She's the sweetest little darling, squeakiest person, and just like shredder lead guitar and vocals person. And she was like, look at this, do this, and I want to try new things. And then she was like, I got, what do you call them, sides? And then she was like, I don't want to do this. And so she passed it along to me, and I sent in a tape and came in for the audition, and that was it.
And you were fine with everything in the script.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. And I knew what I was getting. They were very clear about what I was getting into. Obviously, I didn't get to read the script until after I got it, but even just the sides and coming in for the audition, they were like, here's the deal. And I was like, drop trowel, no problem.
And serious though, that's important for people to know what kind of movie you're getting into, for everyone involved, for the actors and and the people making it.
Yeah, everybody, it was very clear right up front. And when we were on set, everybody was super respectful. We had, I don't want to give anything away, but before a certain part, we had a sort of safety meeting and made sure it was closed set, so that I felt it was completely professional, and I felt super comfortable.
And how about yourself, Henry?
Yeah, I also kind of got involved through knowing London through music and musician friends. Yeah, that's how I got involved. Kind of similar.
I have to admit, you look like you're having a lot of fun playing like a real scumbaggy guy.
There were some fun parts, but yeah, no, I remember like reading the script, certain lines and certain parts was kind of like, oh wow,
He's like,
they want me to do this? Oh man. Okay. So you kind of just had to go like full bore at it to pull it off. I guess it's just so extreme.
And so Chuck and Christian, you guys co-wrote it together. How close is the finished movie to what you guys wrote originally?
Pretty damn close, I gotta say. I was surprised. There's some dialogue changes, and that comes with the territory. Actors come up with stuff on the spot. Usually is better, so go with it. But the skeleton of the story, that was all very much intact.
And now, Christian, were you on set for the film? Because I found out that I think this is the first time everyone's meeting Chuck. Well, not everyone, but the first time the cast here is meeting Chuck.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Chuck was in New York City. I was on set for most of it. Yeah, I missed the first 2 days because I had already had a European trip planned. So yeah, and then I came.
What was the experience like being on? So you're not directing it, but being on a movie that you wrote.
it was super fun because I just watching, especially Hannah's watching a couple of scenes with Hannah doing this wild dialogue, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, we actually wrote something kind of cool right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Chuck, I did every single word that you guys wrote. I did not stray one line from what you guys wrote. I didn't come up with anything new.
I noticed. and I appreciate that dearly.
Yeah.
I did. We really wrote it for that. So.
And we're both really, we're both into magic, but Chuck's way more knowledgeable. He's 10 times smarter than I am. And he wrote a lot of that juicy dialogue, and we kind of bring it back and forth and touch it up on on each other's stuff. But yeah, it's definitely a credit to him on bringing in like the real juicy.
Well,
stuff.
that's an interesting thing is co-writing. How does that actually work? So one person's better at something than the other, or?
Well, yeah, probably. I don't know. Possibly. We're both good at different things. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't want to say one of you were bad at something.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're both. I don't know. We're both bad at some things and good at some things, but I don't. I think on this one, I think I was a little busy, and I asked Chuck to kind of outline a bunch of stuff. So he just started outlining, and then we just trade the script back and forth, and we start filling in the scenes once they're outlined. And we stopped writing together many years ago, like together. And then we'll go, and we'll just send it back and forth, and I'll change what he has written, like, update things, and he'll change the scenes that I wrote. We'll cut something out for each of us. And that's how we really do. And then we'll meet, maybe once a week on the phone and talk about things and maybe a new direction that the script needs to go, and then get it approved from each other, or from London and Eric, and then run with it.
Come to think of it, something just occurred to me with your question. Who's better at what? I know Christian's the one with the heart.
You're a very heartless man.
I mean, I'm better with the esoteric knowledge, I guess. That's my thing, and trying to make sure everything is airtight in that regard. Whereas Christian brings in, the characters that people relate to and things like that. So he's very good at that. Where I'm oblivious, I don't like people, so
When I talked to London, he said someone was on set that was like, who helped with the actual rituals to like make sure that that was you. I actually thought it was you, Hannah, but I wasn't positive. Yeah.
They were like, can we credit you as the occult consultant? And I was like, absolutely, you can.
I can't think of a really cooler like credit than that.
Yeah. I feel like I'm very proud of that credit.
I mean, you did that for the opening.
Yeah, and I also organized all the ritual stuff for the opening sequence. I was there on set for that night.
Yeah, it was really helpful to have you on, because otherwise I would have needed to fly Chuck out to help out with some of that stuff. I mean, I've read a ton of books too, but like Chuck reads, he's read way more. So it's like I was not really I wouldn't have been ready to do that. Yeah,
it was fun. They were like, can you tie a knot? And I was like, who can't tie a knot? But then I realized I was also in charge of like tying people up to things.
Right.
How do you tie a knot?
That's a little unsettling though. If they ask you like, can you tie this person up like so they can't get out? And you're like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, no problem. Yeah.
Well, what is your background then to be knowledgeable on these rituals?
I am part of.
If you want to talk about it,
I'm not a Satanist, because
Okay.
you have to believe in the Christian God, I think, to believe in the Christian Satan. But I grew up in a very left-handed path kind of environment. A lot of Wiccan and earth magic, and I have a lovely group of friends, including the folks at Frankie and the Witch Fingers High and the folks at Twin Temple High. And we practice magic together, sigil magic and the like. They're Satanists, but also kind of the same, where it's like more left-hand path. But I grew up with a very witchy grandmother in a kind of a compound situation.
I think it's very interesting, and I know a little bit of the Satanists in the Boston area in Salem, and a lot of them don't really don't believe or would more be atheists, I think, but they kind of use it more. I won't say political, but more like social, like commentary in a way or something.
Well, yeah, it really riles people up, so that's fun.
Yeah, I was at just a real sidetrack. I was at Boston Underground Film Festival when they showed I forget the name of the movie. It was a documentary about the Satanists, the church. The Church of Satan.
Hail
Hail
Satan.
Hail Satan, right?
Yeah.
And then
Great.
afterwards, we all marched down to this Chinese restaurant, and they had a black mass, which everyone got kicked out. But then we got little we got little pins that said we survived the black mass of Boston Underground.
Did
Film
you
Oh,
go
I
to their?
like
Did you go to their house too?
I did not, but
Oh, okay.
I know the temple. That's what the temple.
Yeah, I
temple
got to
is.
go there a year and a half ago and take a picture with the Baphomet statue and all that. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
That was a good time.
They
So
let you climb all over it.
director Eric Bocchio, is that how you say his last name? I'm sorry.
Bacchio? I don't know what else.
Baggio.
We'll just call him Eric.
Yeah.
Eric B. Had you guys worked with him before?
I hadn't, no. Yeah, everyone was super fresh. Hadn't met
Chuck-
anybody.
Yeah.
He was great though.
Chuck and I knew London, but I don't know. We didn't know Eric, did we, before this?
I met Eric at Trauma Dance with London when they were
Okay.
there with Brutal Realty.
Okay.
And that's kind of like the starting point for all of this, honestly. They were peddling around a short about a black metal demon who wanted to quit his life of bashing drums and become a real estate broker. And it's pretty funny, very Trauma-like. And I got talking to them, reviewed it for Film Threat, and things went from there.
And Henry, what you said how you got involved, but what interested you in the script or doing the movie?
There's just some even though there's like a lot of great sort of classic I don't want to say tropes, but sort of signifiers of 70s kind of low budget or grindhouse horror stuff. There's like some sort of unexpected turns and elements that happen in the story that I think make it very compelling and make the characters kind of interesting and more complex, even the evil ones in some ways, where there's sort of depth to them that aren't in the movies that the movie references otherwise. And so even though I actually am not like a huge horror movie buff,
Interview's over. No.
I like creature stuff, but like slasher stuff and is not so much my kind of thing usually, but I found the story really compelling.
Yeah, well, I think that is part of the movie too. Is like obviously there's a lot of graphic stuff that happens, but you get to know the people in it, and I think that is more impactful if you care about the characters before a bunch of crazy stuff starts happening to them.
Yeah. Invested.
Exactly. That's a better word for it. So, how about you, Hannah? What interested you in Claire?
Well, during the audition, because initially having no context for the couple of scenes that I taped, I was like, what in the fuck is happening? Like getting my mouth around the language and like dinner seg and 9-star on the, and just trying to drop into that. So during the audition, they're like, do you have any questions for us? And I was like, for me, approaching any project or text, I always like to ask myself or those who I'm working on it with, why does this story feel important to tell right now? Why is the story important to you that we need to tell it and make it? And yeah, and Eric and London were just like, we love grindhouse. We love horror. The opening scene, I think, really propelled Eric to want to make it. And so them just being like, we want to just all balls to the walls, fuck around, find out, and make the horror movie that we want to make with no one telling us what to do. And I was like, let's do it. Tell me about it.
What scenes did you audition? I don't know.
I auditioned with the opening scene where she meets the kids.
Okay.
And when they first stumble across them, and then after they wake up by the fire right before the ritual, when she's like explaining what's about to happen.
Oh, okay. So you have a juicy scene.
Yeah, and trying to get off. It was great because once I was on set, nothing changed, and I was off book for those scenes already, which is wonderful. But then too, I love playing villains because they never think that they're the villain. So
I think that's the best kind of villain.
yeah. So for me, Claire like was kind of the hero, and like her like we were, you know, in the process of like saving the world in our own way. And so it was really fun to find all the places in the text that like give her reasons to keep pushing forward and to put the pressure on and to justify why she's there in a way that's not like, because fuck you, I'm awesome and hail Satan. It was like she had like a really, really grounded reasons for why she was there. And to her, she was a good guy. So that's fun.
Yeah. And I mentioned before we went live, you look much different on IMDb than you do in the film.
Yes.
I ever thought maybe you were a nurse at first when I was looking.
Oh no, that was from, I did like a made for TV movie, one of those like a dingo stole my baby or whatever. And I played a nurse, like just sort of randomly, like a 2-day shoot. I am naturally blonde. And for the purposes of the film, they asked me to dye my hair dark brown. So it's been growing out over the past year or so. I had to come in a wig for the audition so they could see how I looked brunette. And they said, you can wear a wig on set. And I was like, in the desert, I'll dye my hair. I was like, I will surely dye. So yeah, I am naturally blonde and I've been rocking that brunette life.
Dean in the chat room says he digs a Clockwork Orange shirt, and he also says that Henry has a hell of a mustache.
Oh,
I actually
Thank you.
tried to curl mine up before the show, but I don't have any wax. But I'll have to get grooming tips on what kind of wax.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the opening scene a few times, and we won't go into what happens because you want people to see it. But did that have any? Was there any issues with that first scene when you were going to get into festivals?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a possibility. I don't think you're ever gonna know what the
Maybe not so
reason
much with
why.
festivals, but maybe like if
Yeah.
other theaters from that.
Yeah, and Eric in London could answer that question a little better because they were a lot more in charge of taking care of the promotions outside of the shoot. You know, once we were done in post.
Well, apparently we were banned in Pakistan, so
Right.
it may be an indication.
Yeah, when I had London on, I asked them because there could be several different reasons why you'd be banned in different places. You know,
Yeah, there's a couple.
it might even just be like something more mundane, just like mentioning, the devil or something. They're like, oh, we're fine with that opening scene. It's just other. We don't like this guy
They're
shot.
like women's bodies do whatever to them, but Satan.
Yeah.
Right. That's where we draw the line.
Yeah.
So, but that though, so you get banned in Pakistan, and obviously you want the movie to play everywhere. But I assume that's also got to be just got to be cool that you were banned somewhere.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, all my favorite movies were banned, so
Yeah.
that means something to me.
Yeah, oh, Clockwork Orange too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, all my friends that I told were like, "Oh, that's the dream! Congratulations!" Like everybody's really proud.
Well, I'm just wondering how in the hell we were supposed to be playing Pakistan in the first place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was surprising to begin with.
Wow. But I was surprised.
So, yeah, you mentioned the desert. What are some of the hardships of filming in the desert?
Y'all, who wants to start?
Well, I mean, it's hot as fuck and it's no fun. Like I hate the desert. I like the mountains and a cool breeze, but the fucking desert sucks, dude. But it would have been nice to do it in the mountains. I think we did talk about that. I was like, oh, let me buy a cabin just so we could shoot this in the mountains instead of the desert. But it just ended up being in August. And it's like the worst time to shoot. And the first couple of nights, I wasn't even there for those first few nights, but it was like 120 degrees and it was just really rough on the crew. At least setting up during the day, and then at night it was 100 degrees. And then it started cooling down a lot more later, but
Yeah, to like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
90
that's totally
degrees at night.
nice. Yeah.
90.
So and then we we were getting back to our Airbnbs. We were all sharing Airbnbs and just trading bedrooms. An actor would come in. Oh, okay, here I'll sleep on the couch and
But yeah.
yeah. So and then we had 2 Airbnbs right next to each other, so we got to hang out. But it was like during the day, and it's fucking 100 degrees, and it's like 9 a.m. We're like trying to drink a beer in the morning. Going, okay, let's
Winding
have our
down.
beer before bed. So
I was very happy to be in the wardrobe I was in for the
I
heat.
was actually thinking that when they're
Yeah, I
mentioning
kind of
how-
lucked out
Yeah.
yeah, you did.
in that way.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for you, it's probably better than if it was in the mountains, and it would have been like
Yeah,
40
I was
degrees.
freezing.
Yeah.
Super nipply. Yeah, I had like a night or two off, and so I have a friend
Right.
who lives over near Pappy and Harriet's in Pioneer Town, so I was staying with her before and on breaks, and I like sat on her covered porch and watched the rain and had a glass of wine and worked on my lines, and they were on set like monsoon, like the roof of the house
the
we were shooting.
sandstorm.
Oh, the sandstorm like ripped off.
Oh, geez.
I wasn't there for any of it. I came back all refreshed, like how was
Wait,
it?
is it called a monsoon? What the fuck is it called?
No,
again?
most
No.
of the rainstorm.
It was a sandstorm.
Yeah,
Okay.
like a
Yeah.
windstorm. But it was like a sand blizzard, kind of like it was like kind of covered the road in certain spots. I was out at the Airbnb, and when me and Wes, who's one of the other actors, drove out to set, it was like bunch of the road out there was covered in sand and stuff.
Mhm.
They were trying to fix the roof when we got there.
Yeah, it just ripped
Yeah.
the roof right off the house.
Yeah. Jeez. Any injuries or anything like that while making the movie?
Some people passed out.
Yeah.
Nothing serious.
Yeah, nothing
Whatever
crazy.
it
You scraped your hand. didn't you?
Yeah, I cut my hand
Oh.
on the mosaic.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that was my I should have warned you on that because I made this
Oh, no.
mosaic table.
I know.
Yeah.
His character Mason goes in.
Yeah.
and-
I actually have in my
grabs the
notes. He's
table.
breaking everything up. Yeah.
yeah, and he.
I'm
and
so
when
jealous.
He smashes that table, and there's a really good shot where it cracks in half.
Yeah.
But it's one of the Reed character's art pieces, and it was all super sharp glass on the top of it.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot to warn him.
I let it kind of like slid a little in my hand right through instead of just like dropping it was sort of
Yeah.
what happened. But it wasn't that bad of a cut.
All right. Well, that's good. And this might be a silly question, but I would assume like a lot of fake blood and sand is not a good mix.
Yeah.
Sugary fake blood.
Sugary fake blood, and there were like carpenter ants.
Mm.
So the
Yeah.
last
Red
shot,
ants.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
gnarly big juicy red ants. The very last drone shot we had to wait for morning to shoot. It was,
Oh,
like,
right. Which is a very cool shot, by the way. But yeah.
yeah, it is a cool shot. We had to wait for daybreak, and so it was like, okay, the sun's coming, everybody get back into place. And then we lay on the ground, and then Julie comes over and dumps more blood on us and throws sand and rubs it all over us,
Yeah.
refreshes all of our wounds, and we were just lying there because all you can do is lie there because that's all you can do. And Henry and I were lying next to each other, just watching these ants like slowly come to the sugar blood. We were like, "Don't move."
And
Yeah,
all of the characters were still alive then too. in
Right.
that
Right.
scene.
Yeah. Yes, everybody's. Yeah, we're just taking a
They
nap.
were just
Yeah.
taking a nap.
Yeah, Yeah.
This is what you missed out on, Chuck. You missed out on some red fire ants. And...
Well, were the carpenter ants yearning to be close to you?
perhaps we were drawing them in
Yeah. It was,
with
It's a
our
nice way to look at it.
botanic allure.
And I mentioned Julie. She may be joining us. I'm not sure, but Juli Hapney. I'm a big fan of hers. What was she like to work with?
She was great. I mean, I sent my minions to do most of my bidding. So I personally didn't have a ton of things that I interacted with her. But she was my like safe person on set for a certain intense, intimate scene.
Right.
And with what I had to wear on my body,
Mm-hmm.
kept slipping off because it was so hot. And God bless her, she just was like right up in my parts, like, I got you, girl. Just like, let's go, just putting it back on. So I will forever love her for that. And I think she did beautiful work. Like all the in-camera stuff, I think is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neal,
All the gore and blood look awesome.
Yeah.
And I've done, I don't know how many, 20 movies with Juli, so, or
Oh,
20
nice.
projects. So yeah, we've been friends for, I don't know how many years, 12 years.
Yeah. Is that how she got involved through knowing you?
Yes. Because we're always trying to work together as much as possible. So, and I'm usually able to bring her on. It just depends on the project. And yeah, I was really happy that she said yes, because with her talent and with her passion. The main thing is passion on a low budget movie. There wasn't money to pay people on this, so she got a tiny bit, but wasn't even close to the tens of thousands of dollars of work that she that went on screen.
And she's used to the desert. She lives in Vegas, I think.
Yeah, she moved there a few years ago, so she's getting used to it. But she's from Ohio originally, and then she was in LA forever. So.
And by the way, Henry, did you keep the mohawk?
No.
All right, I couldn't tell. All right.
It's really long now. We sort of like ceremoniously, we shaved it off sort of ceremoniously after the shoot, like saying goodbye to Mason.
Yeah. I think it's an improvement without it. I think it's a better look than his mohawk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about Victoria? She's great in the movie. What was she like to work with?
She's lovely. I had a blast with her.
Yeah, she's cool.
We did at one point, I think you pointed it out, but she forgot to put her contact in, which is like how it's her.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And she couldn't do it by herself. And so we
Right.
sat for a long time, her and I, and Henry holding her eye open with me with the contact and her like squiggling around and me trying to get it in her eye and then helping her take it out later.
Yeah.
We bonded over me touching her eye.
Yeah, but because the character that we wrote for Victoria, I was wondering how is this going to work? This is this wild lady from the past. And when I saw her on set, I was like, holy shit, she
was scary.
Yeah.
It was frightening.
Yeah.
And really rich. She really, really brought it.
Yeah.
She's awesome in the movie. Have you guys done a lot of fight scenes before?
One thing Henry and I bonded over when first meeting on set was having done like stage combat and on-screen stuff. I got my first project, like bigger project that got me Taft-Hartley, was doing stunts. So yes.
Yeah, and I have a little bit of experience of doing some fight choreography, and I do martial arts as well.
Have you ever done a fight scene through a window before?
No.
Another way. First time.
No, I've done two.
Now you've done two.
Is it harder when it's very hot? And by the way, would you rather
Yeah.
work in conditions that are very hot or very cold?
Cold.
Hot, I think.
I guess it depends on what it is, but doing the fight scenes in the heat did make it very difficult. Just to make certain things work, if anything required kind of strength and doing it more than once.
Yeah, where's he down?
Yeah. Like the first, like we first set up first and you do a couple takes and that's fine. But then after that, it starts to be like, oh, fuck, I can't breathe.
And Henry, how about your big fight scene with London? How was that?
That was that was tough. That was a really long scene. I think we broke it up into like 3 sections or something, 2 or 3 sections, just to get through all of it smoothly, without having to stop. But it was one of the last things we did too, I think, were those fight scenes.
Yeah.
Chuck, like, so since you're not you're in New York while they're making the movie, do they send you like clips of the film? Like, how involved are you after, while they're filming it or after they're filming it when they're editing it?
Christian would call me with updates about things that were going on and how everything was going, and that was pretty much it. My understanding was because of the content of the film, they couldn't really be taking pictures and posting them or sending them to me, so I really didn't see anything before I saw the movie this past Friday.
Oh, really? So it's your first time seeing it?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So what did you think? And did you see it at home or did you see it in the theater? Or?
There's a small theater in Brooklyn called Film Noir Cinema, and he likes to run a lot of, random stuff. And he agreed to show the film, and yeah, it was great. I was very happy with the way it turned out. All I watch is pretty much these, 70s, 80s Italian exploitation movies.
Right.
And it really came across like one of those. So I was very happy with it. Your Hannah, your outfit reminded me a lot of something out of a Jean Roland film.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, this is awesome. This is like all of my favorite movies rolled into one.
That's good. So
Nice.
great. Yeah. I had a lot of, we all collaborated on her wardrobe. Initially, it's the sparkly thing you see me in later. And I was like, I can't take myself seriously in this for that long. Like, I think we could save it. And I think it works perfectly for the other scene, but we went through a lot of different iterations of what she should wear. And I was the most happy about, the cape, and also the like superwoman superhero underwear I got to wear. I was like, granny panties. I'm on board. But yeah, it was I think the hardest thing about it was my mic. The pack had to be in my boot, and then the wire had to run up my side. So Lonray?
Yeah.
Bless him. Every day I would just be like, tape me up. He was like very respectful, but
Right.
yeah.
Did you keep the wardrobe?
I have my cape still, and I've been able to use it in other things since, which is great. The boots I brought in, and then I have all the superwoman granny panties still. The dress I didn't keep because it was pretty haggard by the end.
Yeah.
It took me a few days before I even knew that how see-through it was. I was like, wait, holy crap.
Yep.
I didn't even realize.
Which I kind of liked about it is you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what? Oh.
I did not know. Okay.
Yes. And there you are.
Yeah, it's like a magic eye. thing
Yeah.
where it's like you have to focus.
Right.
Henry might have had trouble focusing. After that. They had a bit of a showman's on this movie,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh, that's very
blossomed.
nice.
Yeah, we're engaged.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, congratulations.
Oh wow! Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yay.
Mazel tov.
Thanks.
So you're good with him losing the mohawk then too, Hannah.
I think I was more sad than you were.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I really
Yeah.
liked it, but Henry's hair grows like magic. He can kind of do whatever he wants with it.
So it can always come back, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
I change it a lot.
When I had London on, he talked about I think it was the person who owned the Airbnb was around while you're filming it. So any stories there?
I had the absolute joy of never having to shoot inside.
Right?
All my stuff was outside, which is great. I didn't really interact with her much. She came and kind of watched a couple of scenes when we were shooting. I think London may have said this, but like she had a little trouble with like the keep your animals in one area
No, he
thing.
didn't mention
Because like
that.
we'd be shooting and like an animal would just like wander onto set.
Get a few dogs.
Yeah,
and
she had some
cats.
dogs. I don't know. I didn't really interact with her that much.
Yeah, me neither.
No.
I did for sure. Like even on the first day, or I spent hours and hours with her, and especially on the first time, we were like, okay, we need to bring a 12-pack for her, and then
Oh, for sure. And like some cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarettes,
Yeah.
and 12-pack, and so
Yeah.
then on the final day when we were just cleaning up after we had already shot and slept, I spent a few hours with her, or at least an hour, just shooting the shit. And she's an old veteran and just kind of a desert rat, and lots of stories. She's really cool. Her name is Holly, and hopefully we can have a screening and get her out here.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if she ever got to see a movie. I think
Yeah,
that'd be
she's
really
super
cool.
rad, and she just updated me too. That she said that she got all of her, like, finally she was waiting on military pension plans and all this stuff. So she just bought a new car. She put on a new roof. She's like super happy, and now she's
Good.
yeah. So things
Oh,
are going
that's-
well for her, which is
Thanks
good.
for sharing that. That's nice.
It
to
was
hear.
really a dark time when we left her, because it's like, well, your roof, we had to, because the whole tar part of flew off, and we weren't there for it. But when we got there, we're like, holy fuck, dude, the whole all the roof came off. And so we actually had to chop it up because it was too heavy. It was stuck together. We chopped it up and then just dragged it off and started piecing it back on later on. But yeah, she was a little depressed when we left, 'cause she was like, I don't know how I'm going to get my roof back on.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the things they're looking up for. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for her to come on, but in case she doesn't, what was it like to work with Mya? And it's a very physical role for her.
Yeah, it was a really
Yeah.
physical role. I mean, you got to kick her ass a little bit.
Yeah.
I got to
No, mine
kick her ass a little bit.
No, mine was great. She was
Great. Yeah, she was.
Yeah. That's how you guys bonded. You both beat up Mya.
Yeah, yeah. Like kicking Maya's ass, am I right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, she was lovely. She was so sweet, super enthusiastic. She showed up every day
Yeah.
with like a ton of energy. Whenever, we were doing each other's sides, every actor was there giving it to the other one. So they had their good screen time. Yeah. Yeah. Our fight scene was really fun too.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like her and I just like zoned in and got it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's coming on in 2 minutes, she said.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
While we're waiting for, I want to know, Chuck. So when you watch it for the first time, like the script and everything, but what did you think of like the score and the music choices? Because I think has some cool music in the movie.
Oh yeah, and again, it just reminded me of the Italian movies. It had that vibe, the '80s synth thing. I kept thinking of Bruno Mattei, Strike Commando or something like that with the score, and I thought it was really cool. It worked, and it added to the effect of the film.
Yeah, and I liked some of the pleasant music, like during the montage with London May, and then the final credits score.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I always kind of like that the contrast of like some pleasant music in a vicious movie.
Oh yeah, definitely can add a lot, and it's fun to play around with the moods and tones that way. I guess Tarantino's like really known for doing that sort of thing, using songs that are opposite of what's going on, that sort of thing.
Yeah, juxtaposing what you're
Right.
seeing, and
Like
hearing.
stuck in the middle with
Exactly.
you, right? Well, they're getting the ear cut off. So, who got to go see the movie when it was on the festival scene?
Hank and I went to Spain
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Sitges.
Tell us about
that'd be
Spain.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah, the Sitges like horror and fantasy film festival.
Yeah, that's a
Cool.
huge festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all sort of taking a stroll afterwards. It showed in an old butcher,
yeah.
like a slaughterhouse.
Oh,
which was
really?
fun.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah.
And afterwards, someone just randomly on the street was like, "You guys, you are Sitges. You are the spirit of Sitges." And we were like, "That's all I need to hear for the rest of my life."
How was
I
that?
love
That was our first.
Hello.
Hi, Maya.
Hello, Maya.
Hey,
Hey,
hey everybody.
Long time.
Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry I had to come late.
That's okay. At least you're here. So yeah, we were just talking about the festival runs before you get to your festival run. Maya, how did you get involved in the movie and what interested you?
So it was on Actors Access. That's when I saw it. And to be honest, I had been doing a lot of drama and sad, like romantic comedies or whatnot. And it really excited me that there's SFX and blood and thrill. So I was like, you know what? Let me try this out. So it was my first ever horror movie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So when you auditioned, like, do you remember what scene it was for?
Yes. My audition scene, I had two. One was when I had just gotten stabbed and I see Reed, I'm banging on his door. And it's the screaming. And then the second one was when Reed, which I actually don't know if you guys see the scene, Reed and I have a deep talk about his personal life.
Very cool. How about you? How about your festival? Did you get to go to, see Night of the Bastard at a festival?
You know, I haven't been lucky enough to be able to watch anything yet.
Oh, you haven't even seen it yet.
Wait seen it?
No,
Oh, wow.
no,
Oh.
I have
Even
not.
Chuck's seen it. And he's in New York.
Yeah. Hey, Maya, I'm gonna throw my projector in the backyard. You come over and we'll have some people come. Yeah.
I know that's the plan, right?
Yeah, let's do that. It's great.
Yeah.
All right.
And how about some of the, because we were talking earlier about your fight scenes, and that's how Hannah and Henry they bonded over beating you up apparently. So just kidding. But
I love that. I'm so glad I could bring love together.
had you done like any fight scenes before this?
I've done some stunt work. I was a spy at one point, but I'd have to say Hannah and I's fight scene was probably my favorite. We really went at it. Yes. So it's very enjoyable. I don't know. I think I'm like a little deranged in my head because I like when I get bloody, dirty, messy, beat, bruised. I feel the best when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
never
it's good times.
doing a horror movie before. Was there anything in the script that had like you questioned, like maybe I don't want to do this, or were you just let's do this? It'd be something different.
Not at all. I remember on the audition, it was in tape or the callback. It was in person. And London asked multiple times, "Are you comfortable with X amount? Are you comfortable with X rated? Are you comfortable with?" And I was like, "Yes, sign me up. I'm ready." So no, there's nothing that I was afraid of. I was very excited to take a deep dive in Kiera's mind. But yeah.
And how about London himself? Because most of not all your scenes, but most of your scenes are with him.
Mm-hmm.
So was there like chemistry right away? Well, what did you think about working with him?
It's always fun meeting different people, and there's always different walks of life and seeing where people come from. I think that we have two very different styles, but hopefully people enjoyed watching that on screen. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Christian, did you get to see the movie at a festival?
I did. I got to go. I went to the Sin City in Las Vegas, and they were great,
cool.
Great folks having us. And it was interesting to see it on the screen for the first time, and I was like, oh wow, okay, that's okay. That first time seeing it, I'm like, all right, it came out.
So that was your first time
right,
seeing the movie too? Was at the festival?
Yeah,
You hadn't seen like a
I wasn't
screener?
involved in the post. I've been busy all year on other stuff, but and then I just saw it again. I just rented it on Amazon myself. I just wanted to see it late at night. I was like, I had a few beers and I was like, wow, oh wow, I loved it even more the second time. I was really impressed, and that first time you see it in front of an audience is always like, oh man, are they actually reacting to this, or do they like it? I've had those times where I've shown a film at 2 different festivals in 2 different nights, and one night I hated my life, and I
not to laugh at hating your life.
Yeah, I'm like, I cannot believe I hated this experience sitting with this audience. The next night, it was like the most euphoric experience with an audience. It's like, so as a filmmaker, it's always like really scary to see it with a crowd. And so yeah, but yeah, the crowd reacted well. It was just within me.
Yeah, I would definitely think it's a movie that would play well with an audience. And I think a film festival audience, they would be really into a movie like this. Like you said, like a 70s exploitation film.
Yeah,
that would be like the audience for it.
Just like Once in Future Smash, your movie, Neal. Yeah, I saw it in LA
that was definitely the best screen. Well, all the screens been cool, but the screening in LA was a really special experience.
Yeah.
But I understand being very nervous. We premiered at Fright Fest in London, and I had never seen I've seen a short that I'm in, but I've never seen a feature that I'm in and produced with people. And so I was like, I don't know, like, are they going to hate it, or is anyone going to show up? That was more I was worried about.
How was your experience, Hannah? I don't know if they've already divulged in that, but since you guys went to the big one
and seeing it, yeah. Well, and we didn't even Henry has some family over there, so it was sort of like, we may as well, like, I had a little time off work, and it just kind of lined up, and we were like, should we just go? It was interesting because in just for whatever reason last minute the Catalonian subtitles weren't working.
Catalan and Spanish subtitles, and that didn't work, so there were no subtitles. So we sold it out. Yeah,
we sold the space we were showing and sold out, but and I think maybe 4 people walked out, probably because they were like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
everyone
wow.
else, like, regardless of the language barrier, anytime there was gore, everybody was like, yeah.
Yeah. So it was a
They're
weird
super into it.
first audience experience because they weren't reacting to anything that
We were
like
saying,
was
really.
any of
Like,
Well, that's
like,
good acting then, right?
Yeah.
action and gore,
yeah, but
which they would just like
they were
applaud.
like applauding for it, all the like, yeah, everything. They were super into it. Yeah, it's always, I think it normally, I don't know, same like watching yourself, you're like, oh, why do I talk like that? But
Mhm.
I think because I had to dye my hair, I felt like one step removed from seeing myself normally. So I had an easier time watching myself on camera for maybe that reason. I don't know why, but it's fun. It was fun. I wish you could have gone my.
Next time, hopefully.
Did the ending scene, did it get a big cheer for that one moment?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though like I obviously with context, I think even with the language barrier, people were putting it together. But yeah,
exactly.
everyone's like, and we've watched it now. We had like a little hangout on the opening night with some friends. So like it's been fun watching it with like different groups of friends,
Mhm.
small groups of people, and seeing what they're most like, what they're quiet for and what they're
Yeah.
cringy for. And but
Mm.
and then them like putting the whole plot thing together by the end, they're like, damn it.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
And it got a lot of buzz at the festivals. I know there was a buzz for it at Fright Fest, and then you guys won awards at different things. And Julie won an award for gore, for the effects a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, how important is the festival run?
That is well, that's the first fun you're gonna have with the movie. So and it's amongst your peers and your contemporary films. And so that's the fun. It's like going around the circuit with your film and seeing the same people or seeing the same films, and the camaraderie of building new friendships and meeting random strangers and talking about your film. I don't know, it's a blast. It doesn't get old.
Yeah,
Doesn't get old. And winning awards at as awardy kind of punk rock, we don't awards are not cool. No, awards are super fun. They're always
yeah.
it doesn't
I
matter.
understand,
Anytime you
yeah.
get them, it's the best.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
like,
they're not important until you win them. Then it's like, oh yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I have a couple over here behind me. So yeah.
yeah, and you may not even feel like you deserve it sometimes. Like, I'm not saying about this movie, but in general, but you're like, but I still got it. Still put it on my shelf. That's pretty cool.
Maya, you weren't here when we were talking about actually filming in the desert. Was that hard for
Mm.
you, filming in the heat and the sand?
I remember. So I had actually
I
had.
assume yes, with a big sigh like that.
Well, I had COVID.
Hmm.
And so it was getting over COVID and studying the script and literally testing negative, I think like 2 days before shooting, but still feeling a little wonky and I think we only had about 10 days to prepare and then to shoot in the desert. The first 2 days were a bit gruesome, but again, like I'm more of a methody actor, so I enjoyed feeling exhausted because I feel exhausted and I'm on my last leg throughout the entire film. So I didn't have to pull much for my imagination.
Right. So the COVID was a
yeah.
blessing. Yeah.
In a sense, the breathing and like that was real.
Right.
Yeah. So it was
I
a
know,
good time.
When I found out you had COVID, it was maybe, I think a week or something, but it was a false negative, or was it real?
Oh no, it was real. I lost a lot of jobs that week, and I remember
Oh.
calling sobbing and being like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
and I just tested every single day.
And you and Lennon were in a lot of rehearsals. I remember, and then
Yeah,
he calls me and he's like, "Dude, what the hell should we do?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, you have a few options. We delay the movie or we recast her." And I'm like, "We should."
And we
probably
had like
recast her."
5 days.
Yeah. And I was like, because if she just turned positive today, we are screwed, and we're not gonna be able to shoot the movie in the next few days. So I would recast her, and luckily he did not, because you were the You were the best person for the job. And I had never seen anything from you, Maya, but I was voting against you. Just because I'm like, the movie
My
first.
heart.
I don't know this chick, but the movie first. We got to make it.
No, I totally understand, but it worked
Yeah.
out. It worked out. So definitely, yeah. I added a scare, a prequel scare to the movie.
Yeah. Yes.
Since you've not done horror movies before, I assume you've not worked with like a lot of fake blood and like a romantic comedy. I don't know, but
Oh my goodness. So one of my favorite scenes. Oh my gosh,
Hey,
hey.
Julie.
hey, good to see you.
I'm on
And I was
live.
just about to talk about your SFX.
Oh,
Yeah,
yay.
it's
Yes.
perfect timing. Yeah.
My favorite scene to shoot was when we were doing the staples and also when I was like pulling the wound because we had, and Julie could describe it better than me, but we had like a tube in my pants and everything, and just so much gallons of blood were squirting everywhere, which I loved. But yeah, it was a very fun shower time when I just saw all of I felt like Carrie in the movie, all of the blood just coming down, washing
Oh,
away.
yeah, your guys' shower was disgusting. I think I had to help clean it at the end of while we were
Sorry.
getting out of the Airbnb.
Yeah,
So
especially
Julie-
with Wes.
Yeah.
Poor Wes was just
Oh,
Every day.
Completely drenched every day.
yeah.
Julie, how did you get involved in Night of the Bastard?
Christian and Chuck, they wrote an amazing screenplay, and Christian was like, "You got to do this," and I was like, "All right, I love it. I want to do it."
So there was a lot of blood in the movie. So this may be a silly question, but do you bring the blood with you when you're there, or?
Yeah. Well, I bring everything. I bring a few gallons to start with, and then I bring all the materials I need to make more blood because I like to make it like the night before. So that especially when I'm like dumping it like all over people, they're eating it, it's in their eyeballs. Like it needs to be clean. Like I don't want to use like blood that's I made 2 weeks ago and be like, here, this is for you.
Yeah. How does the blood taste, by the way, for people who got it in their mouth?
Yeah, a little wintergreen kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
I had recently when I was in LA with fake, and she told me, not Julie, but someone else told me it was like, oh, it's mint flavored. And so
Mine's not.
it didn't taste bad, but then I actually got some around my eyes and it didn't burn, but it was a weird experience, kind of like getting menthol in your eyes, basically.
You're talking about Ben Nye blood. Ben Nye blood, I believe, is one of the only ones off the shelf that has the mint flavor to it. My
Nice.
blood doesn't have flavoring because I don't add any of the chemicals or additives. So mine kind of tastes like nothing.
Hey,
That's
I
probably
must have
better.
been thinking of another time I was drenched in Ben Nye blood then, because I'm like minty. That's what I associate with fake blood. But
Yeah.
thankfully,
It's the cheapest blood you can buy off the shelf.
Yeah.
And
I
it
guess-
works.
Yeah.
Hey, Julie, do you want to give us your blood formula?
Well, I have to say your blood is very dark and it's gruesome looking.
Yeah, literally I use like depending on budgetary, how much money I have. It's like Methocel, corn syrup sometimes, glycerin, and depending on how I want the blood to look. And then I use food colorings. A lot of the magic of what I do, there's a chemical reaction that I do that involves certain things. It doesn't really have to deal with the actual product itself, like the ingredients, but there's something I do to it that makes it not stain and that makes it act a certain way. And that I won't reveal. But yeah, it's everything, it's all edible. It's food-based, super safe. You can squirt it in people's eyes. It doesn't sting. Doesn't feel great, but it doesn't sting.
And you said depending like the budget and everything. How about like okay, so a lot of this movie's outside. Does that alter how you're gonna make the blood?
Well, budget. So the cheapest way to do it is corn syrup. The thing when you do corn syrup blood is that bugs love corn syrup blood. And the other thing is corn syrup blood is
the
more
ants really
sticky.
big fans. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but when you're using gallon after gallon, that's with a movie like this, like my total budget, I want to say for principal photography, I had a $5,000 budget. And then for everything we did in the 70s, the flashback, my total budget was $600. That being said, I did not get paid. I did not get paid for this movie. I did it for free. All the money went on the screen. And then I also used a ton of my own materials. So I probably invested close to $2,000 or $3,000 of my own stuff into the movie. Oh, wow. So I think like reasonable, we can say that this one was probably done for less than $8,000 is what my total cost for everything you see on screen effects wise.
But it probably would have been 100,000 if it was.
Yes.
If it was
Yeah.
a real a real budget to paying.
Well,
all
I
of your,
mean, even my rate is around
all your work.
$1,000 a day and up. So like that in itself with 11 days, you know.
And
So
Maya
here,
hasn't Maya hasn't seen it yet, but have you seen the movie, Julia?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I saw it. The first time I saw it was in Las Vegas, where I live. I know there was like one of the guys who worked on this. He was on your show and he had a, I don't know, misunderstanding. I don't live in San Diego. I live in Las Vegas, just to get that clear. But yeah, the first time I saw it was in Las Vegas. And then as soon as it came out, I watched it the night that it came out on Amazon. And I think I've watched it one more time.
Oh,
So I've seen it 3 times.
You didn't get to see it at a festival. Did you get it to see it at a festival?
Well, yeah, in Vegas,
In
the
Vegas,
one that I
okay.
won the trophy at.
Yeah. Where is your trophy? I assume you don't carry it with you, but
Yes,
do
you
you have
do.
a special place for your trophy?
It's in the hat.
There you go.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, it's at home. I'm in LA right now. I'm at work because I'm always at work.
Right. All right. So
Same.
so where can people see Night of the Bastard right now?
It is currently on Amazon Prime, Hulu, Xbox, Vudu, Apple something, wherever
TV.
Apple something. Yeah,
Apple
that's
something
a very
Prime.
specific term.
wherever you VOD. I don't really VOD. I have a giant collection of discs here, so but I did VOD it on Prime the other day.
Where can people like you could probably just put in Night of the Bastard and you probably can find this easy.
Yeah.
But is there a website or some people could find, look up to see like where they can get it?
Yeah, I think it's nightofthebastard.com. And blackvortex.com, blackvortexcinema.com is my website, and I think I don't know if I have any links there, but I'll have to post some.
Any chance of physical release or VHS release?
I think we've heard something like that. Did we not? I don't know. I
shaking
think
her
there
head
is.
yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember hearing something about physicals coming down the road. So
Yeah. Which I'm excited about. I have.
Yeah, I heard VHS and Blu-ray, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
Julie, what was the hardest scene to pull off, gore wise?
I would say the opening one, the baby kill, that one.
Right.
And the reason why, unfortunately, we had no sources of heat. Like even the house we were filming in, they had all the windows open because they were running electrical wires through it. And so, what was it, like 20 degrees? And so my blood was freezing. I had no way to keep things flowing. And I mean, even we were all kind of like huddled around this like trash can fire outside, but there was no way to get warm. It was really bad, that part. And so because of that, my effects, they suffered because I wasn't able to have a nice warm place to keep blood. And then also too, like it coagulates, it gets thicker with the cold. And so what I normally do is I would keep on a normal film shoot, you have like a base camp where there would be, heat, or if it's an extreme cold or an extreme hot thing, like you would have like an air conditioned spot. And so whichever way it rolls, I would keep my blood in that area. But on this show, we didn't have that area. So I was just hoping and crossing my fingers that the blood worked. And then also too, like we had no time. We shot all of that in one night, and literally the entire like 1970s, like all of that stuff was shot in one night. And I mean, it's without some all-stars. Like Hannah is such an all-star. She brought so much to this show, and just her attitude. She had such a wonderful attitude. And some of us, myself included, didn't necessarily have the best time working it just because of the conditions. The conditions, they were rough. But wonderful cast. Like everybody that's on this right now is just such a wonderful person. Like you're all my favorites. I wish that Eric was here too, because he's simply fabulous. And it was such a wonderful group of people, and we all really cared so much about what we were doing that we just tried our best. But it was still really rough. I mean, it is what it is. But I think too, like it pulls through when you watch it. You're like, oh my God, this is like crazy. Yeah. And I think it added to, making it a wonderful horror movie.
And
yeah, I think everyone was really passionate, and that same. We were all just like, let's make some weird shit.
Yeah. So Maya, now you said you didn't work in horror movies before, but are you a horror movie fan?
Yeah, honestly, my heart isn't passionate in acting, but if you're about to quiz me, I absolutely suck at remembering anything. However, one of the things that I did to get in character, I remember driving to rehearsal with Hannah in London every day was 28 Days Later is my favorite horror film, and that soundtrack is my favorite soundtrack. So I would always play that, or if like we were in a break filming, that song was playing, the theme song specifically. So that set the tone for me.
I love to hear that. I listened to the Wicked soundtrack from the musical. I would
really?
just like, cause she's a witch. And so I would just like get all my vocal warm-ups from like singing Defying Gravity on my way to
Yes.
Hey, I love hearing that you were listening to 20 Days Later because I was listening.
Yeah, Chuck,
Look at
Chuck,
that.
Chuck, what were you listening to while we were writing?
Oh man, I don't remember. Probably some black metal or something.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember too. Shit.
Yeah.
Let's hope you say like Hanson or something, like
Ah,
Mbop or something.
You know, man, fuck, because we've written so many damn things. Like, I'll change it. Sometimes I might have been like funk and disco on this one. I don't remember.
I think I was listening to a lot of MZ412. Like
How's that?
They're a Norwegian black industrial group,
Okay.
like noise and black metal mixed together.
Yeah.
Well, now we have to know, Henry, what were you listening to?
I guess I was listening to like a lot of L7 and Circle Jerks on the way
That makes
to
sense for you.
set, just trying to kind of get pumped up and get my
Get
energy up
mean.
for the night.
Right. And Julie, do you listen to anything when you're getting ready to make your blood?
I do. Ironically, I usually throw in House of a Thousand Corpses soundtrack, and I rock out to Pussy Liquor. That's my favorite song on the soundtrack. Get pumped up.
I've seen videos of you on your Facebook singing songs from. It's also got Bill Moseley. I forget the name escapes me at the moment, but it's the
Repo the Genetic Opera.
Repo the Genetic Opera. There you go. Yeah. And Dave Bailey in the chat says, "Hell yeah, 28 Days Later rocks." So he's in agreement with Maya.
Yeah.
So the movie can get on VOD. Night of the Bastard. Did Night of the Bastard? Was there any problems with the name, like as far as festivals or getting it out there on any websites? I think Facebook that you can't use it apparently.
I haven't heard of any. I know. I think London and Eric, they wanted to keep the title under wraps just to kind of keep it safe and not really reveal what kind of a movie we were doing to some companies that we were renting from, just to make it seem a little more respectable. But other than that, I haven't heard of any issues.
Yeah, then they would watch it and see the opening scene. And
Yeah,
it's a very respectable movie, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when we saw the listing online, it was Marlin. So it wasn't even Night of the Bastard. Yeah. So that was like very under wraps.
Named after the
I remember
turtle.
reading the script and being like, yeah, I was like, why is it called the turtle? Like where's the connection? And then I got it.
I was really happy to see at the end, no animals were hurt because I was concerned for the turtle.
Yeah, Julie, did you? Yeah,
it.
yeah. We won't talk about what happens with the turtle.
Yeah.
But,
No.
Yeah, yes.
Sure.
But
no spoilers here.
No turtles were harmed.
Yeah.
This is not Cannibal Holocaust.
It is always
No.
weird to me that and I'm the same way, but if you watch a horror movie, you're fine with everyone getting murdered. But if the an animal's in danger, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, we don't want anything to happen to the turtle. Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. Because animals are pure.
Mhm.
We love them.
Yeah.
The Marlin character is actually a turtle that I had bought. I bought my girlfriend at the time, about 10-12 years ago, a turtle, and she named it Marlin, and it was actually Marlene at first, and then she found out it was a male, and then he became our best buddy, and he became he was my closest pal. And anytime I was riding, I would let him hang out, and I actually got to babysit him after we had broken up. I was, she my ex, she let me watch him for a few months while she was transitioning into a new house. And so he just would hang out with me. I let him crawl around the place. We'd take him to parks and shit, let him climb trees. But he would walk up my leg, walk up all the way up my chest, walk up to the back of my neck and start pawing at the top of my head while I'm riding. And so I would just set him on top of my head, and he would just sit there and rub his fingers in my hair for like a half an hour straight. And I'd just be like, sit straight up and just write. And so I figured that would be the best way to make the Reed character likable, because he's not
Yeah, you can't dislike a man with a turtle.
yeah, he's not he's kind of a gruff character. And so that was the, kind of the Save the Cat books, or the give somebody a pet or something to help the little lady across the street, or something right at the beginning, to make sure that at the very least, even if he is kind of a dick, especially to Maya's character, you already kind of like him.
Yeah.
You already kind of like him.
Yeah. My brother has a tortoise. And I believe when they got it, him and his girlfriend, they had to you had to will it to somebody because it lives like 150 years. So
Yeah.
All right. So this has been very fun. Is there any what is everyone working on currently, and where can they follow you? We'll start with Christian here and we'll go around.
Okay. You can follow me at blackvortexcinema.com or Acronomicon. Just search my name. I'm the one from LA, Christian Ackerman. There's lots of them out there, but and then what am I doing? I just finished a movie that I can't talk about yet. And I'm still kind of finishing that. I have another one called Fear the Night that I line produced, directed by Neal that I did last year. I have another movie that just finally, like a 5 years ago movie that just finished. And that
flying in right now.
And that, she's going up. And so either way, let's go to Maya, because Maya has to go. Yeah.
All right, Maya, real quick, where can people follow you, and what are you working on?
You can follow me at Haya Maya, or Haya.Maya for Instagram. And I'm working on a lot of projects because I also work on crew side and produce, as well as, sorry, I have to go. But
all right, no problem. Thank you for joining us.
And Through the Stars, I guess that's another one to look forward to. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Maya.
My brother is actually in the chat room. He wants to know what kind of a turtle or tortoise it was.
That was a red-eared slider in the movie, and the original, what he's based on, is a red-eared slider. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe he can Troy will let me know what kind his is. I forget. And it's a similar story. I think they either thought it was a female and it ended up being a male, or they thought it was a male and ended up being a female. But I'm not. Exactly
it was a female turtle, but we named it a boy name. We named it after my little buddy.
All right. Yeah, my brother was the same way. Hannah, what are you working on currently, and where can people follow you?
I have a new horror project in the works as well, with a dear friend of mine, Jason Zumwalt. Cool, witchy, psychedelic horror that we're working on getting everybody together for. So that's exciting. More witchy things to come.
Chuck and I really like witchy things, by the way. That's all we write.
Great.
So just so you know.
I'll send it over. Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you need help, I'll help on set. Whatever you guys need.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Sending it your way. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm not on social media. You can find me lurking on Reddit.
All right. How about yourself, Henry?
I have a documentary I made
cool.
about this band, Skating Polly, that should have a Blu-ray sometime soon. And I'm Mixmaster H without the vowels on Instagram and Twitter, MXMSTRH. If you want to follow me there.
All right. Chuck.
Yes. I'm on Instagram as at Chuck Foster Pete Ayuda. Pete Ayuda is the group I have with my wife. We play really bizarre electronic music, kind of a blend of noise and psychedelic electronics, I guess. So we just had a new album come out. It got posted everywhere today. So Pete Ayuda Afterlife.
Cool.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is that we were actually just asked to do a soundtrack for a short film. And so we recorded that, mixed that down. We're going to get that out soon. I'm also working on a biography of a New York City filmmaker. So that should be coming down the works soon, hopefully through Black Vortex.
Yeah, Chuck and I are going to be putting out some books this year. So that's a part of what we're trying to figure out what we're doing the rest of the year. And that's one of the big goals, to be putting out his book and I don't know, whatever else comes along.
All right. And real quick before we get to Julia, my brother says his is a marginated tortoise, and it was Hal, and then when they found out it was female, and now it's Hallie.
Oh.
Okay.
I knew it was
Yeah.
a similar story.
Yeah,
though.
you
It's
just
kinda
take
weird.
you just take take a little bit off, and you can still name it the same thing.
Sure. And Julie, where can people follow you, and what are you working on currently?
So I've been on a show for the last 6 months, but I can't say what it is
All
because
right.
it's one of those big budget union things where I'm working on the lot.
Oh, that's very cool.
Other than that, what do I have coming out? I still have Bloodthirst coming out in 2023, which is a vampire movie with Robert Lasardo and Tara Reid. I have Natty Knox coming out, which is going to be like, oh man, I'm so excited for that. We got Robert Englund, we got Bill Moseley, we got Danielle Harris, and directed by Dwight Little, who did Halloween 4. This has got to be like my biggest hit because I have all the top, pieces in play on this one. So I'm probably like the most excited for that. And oh my goodness, working with Robert Englund and Bill Moseley, like those two guys are just unbelievable in every way. And where to find me if you're going to be in Vegas in February, I'll have a booth at the Days of the Dead convention.
Oh,
I
very
believe
cool.
it is February 16th, 17th, and 18th. It's whatever that weekend is.
That ends the day before my birthday on the 19th. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, happy early birthday in case
Well,
I don't.
thank you. I appreciate that.
I might
But I'm
have
on
to join
Facebook.
you. I might have to join you, Julie. I was just looking at that the other
To
day.
Days of the Dead?
Days of the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a hotel room for the whole weekend there. So, I
Okay.
mean, I'm going to be signing autographs. I plan on doing DVD or demos. I'll do a demo on Saturday and then a demo on Sunday.
Okay.
And then I'm the designer of Papa Noel for the band Ghost, the makeup for Papa Noel. And
nice.
so I'll have like action figures. They produce these action figures. So I'll be hawking those and selling those off. Yeah. And then I'm on Facebook, Julie with an I, Juli Hapney at Facebook. And then technically I'm on Instagram. I need to get a little bit better at using it, but it's also Juli Hapney at
All right, very
Instagram.
cool. Yeah. And you can check out a really cool long interview with Julie here on Without Your Head.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks everyone for doing this. This was really fun. And everyone check out Night of the Bastard. I really dug it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Neal. This has been awesome, and it's always great to talk to you. And thank you for everything you do for us horror kids.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
thanks
for-
for having
yeah.
us. It's great to see
Thanks.
everybody too, and it's really nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you,
course.
everybody, for
Thanks
giving
so
up this
much.
plan.
I didn't
All right.
recognize you, Henry, with the mustache. I was like,
I know, right?
You
And
just
it
get the
just
curly
clicked.
mustache. I'm trying to copy it. And,
it looks bad.
no
You're
mohawk.
awesome.
And yeah, and I'm gonna play us music out. You can stay for it if you want, you don't have to, but we've got the Tomb of Nick Cage will be playing us out here, our music of the month. All right, I'm gonna get this ready. I should have had it ready. It's very very professional here. All right, here we go.
There we go.
God damn.
Hell yeah.
I'm a
Hell yeah.
fan. I'm a
That
fan.
music's
My,
great.
Yeah.
I think my
That's red.
I'm all messed up here. But anyway, thanks again, everybody. There we go. All
Yeah,
right.
Thank
Cool.
you, Neal. I was listening to your Kyoto Brothers a little about half of it last night.